right, hey, shalom, shalom, call Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, a double honors the apostles, elders, and great millstone salutations to you, Akim, pushing the work of truth and sincerity. All right, so Salaki, I had to uh, stop the feed and come right back. But the name of this lesson is Collapse is Imminent, all right, meaning basically around the corner, all right, it's steadily approaching. Okay, so in a few days, they're going to have that debt ceiling thing. And of course, they're going to push it back. Okay, because, uh, the more money they push into the system, all right, or the higher the ceiling is, the greater the collapse. And, this is going to be one for the books. Okay, because hey, the Lord determined this place to go down. All right, and in fact, I'll start with Isaiah, the 14th chapter, and we can go to Isaiah, the 47th chapter. Dealing with America's downfall, or Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon's collapse. Okay, so really quick. All right, let's see. Here we go. Isaiah 14:11, really quick. It says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave." All right, and the noise of thy vows, the worms spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. All right, and that's essentially America's, as a empire being corroded from the inside out. All right, and it's destined for that to happen. All right, the Lord has determined that. Okay, all right, Isaiah. Since I mentioned it, Isaiah 47. All right, and 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne." Okay, so the Lord is taking the rulership away from this place. O daughter of the Chaldeans. Okay, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans. All right, the Chaldees, they were known for magi's and essentially witchcraft. Okay, and that's what America was brought up on. All right, its origins is witchcraft. All right. So Salaki. Okay. And the virgin daughter of Babylon is Esau. All right. The virgin daughter of Babylon is Esau. Okay. I think it's 137. So really quick. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Oh, that's the NLT. KJV. This is 137 Psalms. And 7, it says, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it," meaning to basically tear down. All right, because it tore down the temple as the Edomites, the Babylonians tore down the temple as the Edomites watched and, raided and caught the stragglers and did what they wanted to do in our time of calamity. All right, even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. So this is the judgment. Okay, we just arguing about somebody, with somebody about the laws of God. But part of his laws is judgment. Also, part of his laws is that goes hand in hand with the laws and judgment is his prophecy, who art to be destroyed. Okay, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So the Lord is going to recompense that the daughter of Babylon, which is Edom. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, and to really understand the times that we're going through, all right, we have to understand history. Okay, we understand history. Here's a few quotes I want to bring out from a few men. This is from Robert Penn Warren. "History cannot give us a program for the future, but it can give us a fuller understanding of ourselves." All right, and in this case, America is Rome. All right, the Roman Empire. Okay, and because it's ruled by the same by the Edomites. Okay, and of our common humanity. Okay, And so I got a little bit on that, the history of Rome and why it fell. And you can definitely compare it to what's going on in the times that we live in. All right. And of course, the water to, apostles, elders who have, laid the groundwork and have gone in depth into, that understanding. All right. And bringing out America being Rome. All right. And that's very prophetic. All right. So that we can better face the future. All right. So that's one. Go ahead. This guy here. History is important. If you don't know history, it is as if you were born yesterday. And a lot of people were born yesterday because they don't know the history. Okay. They don't know the origins in which America, pretty much, drew their standard from, so to speak, for lack of better words. It says that if you were born yesterday, anybody up there in a position of power can tell you anything, right? Like they're telling people now that prosperity and that you can get generational wealth and so on and so forth, and that is pretty much going to be cut because the elite of this society, these Edomites, are going to implode the system, their own system. Essentially, they're gonna bankrupt their own system. Okay, and that's what's happening. Okay, that they can print money. You talk about a debt clock, and a debt ceiling. They can print money at any time, at any given time. And you see the nations, they're backing off, like China, getting rid of their dollar reserves because what? They're pretty much flooding the system with these debt-bearing notes, and they flood the system with debt-bearing notes with the intention on getting a interest back. Okay, so you got to pay that dollar plus interest. Okay, and you're not really, you're not really. We already know that the dollar is not really money. Okay, they took the gold standard out in 1933. All right, and they took the silver standard out later on. Okay, about 30 years later, maybe 34 or 35 years later. Okay, so is there anybody up there in a position of power can tell you anything, and you have no way of checking up on it? See, so a lot of these individuals in societies are dummies because they don't know the history. All right. Here's a good one. It says history is important more than any other topic. James W. Lowen. It is about us, whether one deems our present society wondrous or awful. And it damn sure is awful. Because if you compare it to Rome, it's definitely awful. All right. Or both. History reveals how we got to this point. That's right. So we can conclude that if Rome fell and America is similar to Rome, well, America's going to fall probably in the same exact way. Okay. They always compare America to Rome. It's nothing new. It's definitely nothing new. Okay. Man, Lord willing, y'all can hear me. I really want to check, but I got confidence that it's you can hear me. All right. So now we established that Esau is the daughter of Babylon, aka America. Okay, we can continue. So lament for Babylon. That's the title for this chapter. Isaiah 47. 1 come down, said the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, meaning confusion. And that's exactly what this place is in. It's in confusion. Okay. It says, Babylon, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Tate. All right, so untouched. Let's see what it says in the NLT. Never again will you be lovely, the lovely princess, tender and delicate. It says that in the NLT. Let's see what it says in the NIV. No more will ye be called tender. Okay, same. All right. So let's go back. Isaiah 47:2. Take the millstones, grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. All right. And that's dealing with uh, the American economics. All right. Which is pretty much fading out. That's passed over. All right. Because this place doesn't produce anything. Okay. And in fact, this place consumes everything. Okay, take heavy millstones and grind flour, remove your veil, and strip off your robe, expose yourself to the public view, and that's what's happening. All right, so America is being exposed for what it truly is. All right, this place was founded on slavery, probably the most heinous, uh, slavery enterprise you can possibly think of in history. In fact, it is. Let me say that possibly, possibly. All right, it says, yeah. So, um, right, and when you look at American policies or American politics, it's corrupt. All right. When you look at the policies, it's definitely, you know, imbalanced. All right. It's unjust. Okay. All right. From its origins leading up until now. Okay. All right. So, and they run the world on the fraudulent um, financial uh, um, frameworks. Okay. All right. So you will be naked and burdened with shame. I will take vengeance against you without pity. Here it says in the KJV, it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance and I will meet, and I will not meet thee as a man. So now let's look at some historical evidence or some history. All right. So here's the article says economic reasons for the fall of Rome. All right. And there's many other reasons. All right. Their military was spread thin, just like America's military is spread thin now. Okay. Um, right along with a lot of other things. Okay. Mainly, the biggest thing was society values, their morals. All right. And in Rome, they were very decadent, meaning really they didn't have a moral standard. They didn't have a cap on morals. Um, they pretty much poured out, iniquity and wickedness. All right. And when you look at the Roman Caesars, like a guy, Caligula, all right, he was into all sorts of madness. They even got a movie, all right, bestiality, homosexuality, all of those things that deteriorated the standard in society, So it's very much like America today, all right, with their pride festivals and so on and so forth. This is primary source bias. Here it says, although they say history is written by the victors, sometimes it's just written by the elites. This is the case with Tacitus. Um, it says 56 to 120, and Suetonius 71 to 135. Our primary literary sources on the first dozen emperors, historian Cassius Dio, a contemporary of Emperor Commodus, emperor from 180 to 192. I'm not sure if Commodus was Marcus Aurelius' son. I might be wrong. He says was also from a senatorial family, which then as now meant elite. Commodus was one of the emperors who, although despised by the senatorial classes, was loved by the military and lower classes. The reason is mainly financial. See, Commodus taxed the senators and was generous with the others. Likewise, Nero, right? And now you got, that's why he got such a low rating, okay? Because they're taxing the citizens, the low class, okay? And they don't really care for their military. So like IRS targeted poorest taxpayers while millionaires went mostly unscathed in 2022 report. When you read this, it goes into how, um, you know, the rich have lawyers and they have tax accountants, and the regular people, so they file a different way. And the poor, they file through these different apps and through these different, things that they got set up. And really, they just, they put them all into a pot, and there you go. All right, and they pretty much tax the poor more than they do the rich. Okay, because the rich, they do their due diligence, so to speak. Okay, and so that's why that guy Biden, who you trust in, buy in, right, to trust in. Okay, the guy that you trust in is taxing the hell out of you, and that debt ceiling that's coming up, which they say they're going to enact it in June. I seen this right here. Check this out. Go to Odyssey and look at this. I can't play it right now. Interest on national debt, and he just going into they ain't gonna be able to pay for no expenses when it comes to healthcare, Social Security. So they're gonna come after people's pensions too when you go into it. But let's get back to it. Salaki deviated, but all right. It says Nero Emperor from 54 to 68. All right. Most of these are AD. Okay, this is AD Nero, 54 to 68. It says was popular with the lower classes who held him in the kind of reverence reserved in modern times for Elvis Presley. So he was you know, uh, what do you call those? The entertainers, whatever the hell you want to call them, a superstar. It says complete with Nero sightings after his suicide. All right, so this is inflation. All right, during Rome, it says Nero and other emperors debased the currency in order to supply a demand for more coins. Debasing currency means that instead of a coin having its own intrinsic value, it was now, it was now the only representative of the silver or gold it had once contained. Now, we have debt bearing notes at one point, which had a gold standard. All right, so you would go take your debt bearing note and go trade it in. Okay, I wonder if he knows I'm live. Um, you would go trade it in, and you would get the gold for those debt bearing notes. Okay, or those reserves. Excuse me. All right. So when they took the gold standard out, all right, they pretty much took the real money from the citizens and replaced it with the RFNs or fiat currency, which we now hold, all right, and which we pay pretty much everything for, all right, which has no value. Okay, it's a debt note. So every time you buy something, you owe interest, and essentially, that debt clock, when they feel it's the right time, they're gonna call in those debts. And who's gonna be the one that's suffering? It's gonna be the regular citizens. All right, and they're gonna come after your pension, your 401k, and so on and so forth. Then they're gonna introduce you to something else, okay, which is the CBDC, all right, the central banking digital currency, okay. So give me a second. All right, so the basic currency means that instead of a coin having its own intrinsic value, it was now the only representative of the silver or gold it had once contained. In 14th century CE, year of Emperor Augustus's death, the supply of Roman gold and silver amounted to 1,700,000,000 by 800. Wow. This had dwindled to 165,000. Wow. It says part of the problem was that the government would not permit the melting down of gold and silver for individuals. By the time of Claudius II, Gothicus, emperor from 268 to 270, the amount of silver in a supposedly solid silver denarius was only 0.02%. Wow. This was or led to severe inflation. That's what we have now. That's why you see other countries backing out, all right, and getting rid of the dollar as their reserve, because that's gonna mess up their economy pretty bad, because it's really not any, it's worth nothing. Okay, this is depending on how you define inflation, especially luxurious emperors like Commodus, who marked the end of the period of the five good emperors, depleted the imperial coffers by the time of his assassination. See, damn. It says the emperor had almost no money left. And this is supposedly the five good emperors leading up to Commodus. All right, so it goes into land. All right, so a lot of things that happen in Rome we can learn from, because it's happening right now in front of our eyes. The Roman Empire acquired money by taxation or by finding new sources of wealth. All right, like hand. However, it had reached its furthest limits by the time of the second good emperor Trajan. During the period of the high emperor empire, 96 to 180, probably AD. It says so land acquisition was no longer an option as Rome lost territory. It also lost its revenue base. Wow. And I'm sure you've heard of China buying up assets in America. America selling those forest preserves. You know, like in certain in cities you have a forest preserve. They hire like national forest officer, whatever, I don't know what you call it, and they'll protect this forest reserve. All right, but you see China is buying it up. All right, here in Wisconsin and Wisconsin Dells. I'm not sure if it's true, but we see a lot of Russians there. We don't know if we see a lot of Ukrainians there too. We don't know if Russia bought that up or who bought that, but we know America don't own it. It's a whole water park, which is pretty much a whole city, just filled with different hotels and water parks. Okay, so and it ain't no American. I don't see any American working in these hotels or in these water parks. They're all Russian or some type of different nationality. All right, so they lost their revenue base. All right, they lost their territory and their revenue base. All right, Rome's wealth was originally in the land, but this gave way to wealth through taxation. During the expansion of Rome around the Mediterranean, tax farming went hand in hand with provincial government, since the provinces were taxed, even when Romans proper were not. Tax farmers would bid for the chance to tax the province and would pay in advance. If they failed, they lost, with no recourse to Rome, but they generally made a profit at the hand of the peasants. You see, this is the diminishing importance of tax farming at the end of the participant was a sign of moral progress. but also meant the government couldn't tap private corporations in the event of an emergency. The means of acquiring crucial monetary funds included debasing the silver currency, seen as preferable to increasing the rate of taxation and common. All right, spending reserves, depleting the imperial coffers. All right, so it's not that um, prices are going up in our time. It's because the money is so devalued that it seems like things cost more, but it's just that your spending power is very less, and it's going to be lesser and lesser. Okay, increasing taxes, which was not done during the period of the High Empire, and confiscating the estate of the wealthy elite. Taxation could be in kind rather than coinage, which required local bureaucracies to make efficient use of perishables and might be expected to produce reduced revenue for the seat of the Roman Empire. Emperors deliberately overtaxed the senatorial or ruling class in order to render it powerless. Now, that's why you see no more middle class. To do this, the emperors needed a powerful set of enforcers. All right, and the imperial guard. Uh, I wonder if that could be them getting those 70,000 IRS agents and training them with weapons. It says once the wealthy and the powerful were no longer either rich or powerful, the poor had to pay the bills of the state. And guess what? It's going to hit you Americans very hard, just like it hit them. These bills included the payment of the Imperial Guard and military troops at the empire's border. All right. Feudalism. Since the military and the Imperial Guard were absolutely essential, taxpayers had to be compelled to produce their pay. Workers had to be tied to their land to escape the burden of tax. Some small landowners sold themselves into enslavement, since those in bondage didn't have to pay tax, and freedom from taxes was more desirable than personal liberty. In the early days of the Roman Republic, debt bondage, Nexum, was acceptable. Nexum, Cornell argues, was better than being sold into foreign enslavement or death. It is possible that a century later, during the empire, the same sentiments prevailed. Christianity, barbarians, and vandals. These are different um, reasons for the fall of Rome. Decay. One can spot out decay in many areas, going back to the crisis of the Republic under the Gracchi. But in the period military men were no longer trained right, and the invincible Rome army was no longer, and there was corruption throughout. We could say the same thing for now. So inflation was part of their fall. The presence of lead in the drinking water, leached in from the water pipes, glazes on containers that came in contact with food and beverages, and food preparation techniques could have contributed to heavy metal poisoning. It was also absorbed through the pores since it was used in cosmetics. Cosmetics. Lead associated with contraception was recognized as a deadly poison. Look at that. We can say the same. You got cesium in the water. You got fluoride in the water. They found lead in the water as well. Okay. Hell, you can look up how many cities in America has a water crisis, and and hell, that goes back to that Isaiah 14. All right, the worm is spread under thee, because that's the same thing that's happening in America. get this again. Isaiah 14 and 11, it says that pomp is brought down to the grave, meaning your pride. And the noise of thy bowels, the worm is spread under thee, the worms cover thee. And that's the whole society, from the infrastructure to its laws. All right, your might and your power were buried with you. The sound of the harp in your palace has ceased. Now maggots are your sheets, and worms your blanket. That's a good one. All right, all your pomp has been brought down to the grave along with the noise of the harps. Maggots are spread out, beneath you, and the worms cover you. Yeah, so it's dealing with the corruption of this society. All right. And shalom to Akim on the comment board. That's a good one. Sirach 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right, essentially that's why this place is going down, because the transfer of powers is going on right now as we speak. That's why the society is falling, and it's always happened in our history. But this time, the Lord is going to take over the whole society. All right, the whole world. Excuse me. Okay. Sirach 27:28, mockery and reproach are from the proud, but vengeance as a lion shall lie in wait for them. That's beautiful. That's right. So vengeance is lying in wait for them. Okay. They that rejoice at the fall of the righteous shall be taken in the snare, a trap. And anguish shall consume them before they die. That's right. So before this place is going to go, all right, great violence is going to come. Great sorrow, great misery is going to come to this place because of what they have done to the children of Israel. The Lord is bad, man. The Lord is bad. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify. Daniel 8:25 Salaki. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart and in his mind, and by peace shall destroy many. All right, he shall also stand. Right, so by peace he shall destroy many. Okay, and that's one of the known tactics of this devil. All right, Esau. Okay, is to use craft. All right, and soothe sayings. Okay, to smooth you over, so he can spawn his trap. Also stand up. Oh, he shall also stand up against the prince of princes. Right, but he shall be broken without hand. All right. Because it's going to come up, because he's doing this all because what? It's ultimately his last stand. All right. Me and the bros were just reading an article during class, and it was going into, I think it's a Project Garden Plot. We referenced that article this Sunday. And it's going basically America is going to be taken over by the federales. All right. And they're going to allow the military to come in to pretty much take over everything. All right. But ultimately, it's Esau's last stand. All right. With this new world order. So Slack, I ain't trying to get so economic division of the empire. We can definitely see that happening in this society. You got Democrats versus the Republicans. You got the LGBTQA versus everybody else, versus masculinity versus men. This whole society is divided. You got men and women divided. Feminism is dividing everything too. It says the Roman Empire was split not just geographically but culturally. How much America, with a Latin Empire and a Greek one, the latter of which may have survived because it had most of the population, a better military, more money, and more effective leadership. Okay, hoarding and deceit, causes of the fall of Rome include economic decay through hoarding bullion, barbarian looting of the treasury and trade deficit. They said want even more. What did they say? Want even more? Oh, okay. So that's really just tidbit information. But when you go into it, you can look up articles comparing America compared to Rome. You know, but again, you look at the history. All right, and you'll see the similarities. All right, and of course, um, America, is Rome all over again, and that's in biblical prophecy. Okay, so to conclude this lesson, I have a slew of scriptures that I want to go into. All right, and I want to start with I'll start with this one since it just came to my mind. Go Jeremiah 51:6. Excuse me. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." All right, and essentially, it's dealing with us, you know, fleeing the mindset of this society, because they push all sorts of philosophy, push all sorts of, seducing words. All right, which, okay, is pretty much corruption. All right, so you're supposed to deliver. We're delivering every man his soul by what, teaching them the truth, and the truth shall set you free, as the scriptures say. Be not cut off in their iniquity. So if you're holding on to this place, you're gonna be cut off in their iniquity. All right, though hand be joined in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. And we know that society is filled with wickedness and wicked people. All right, because they subscribe to the way of life. Okay, which is this society is a death culture. This is for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, right? So we wasn't born. We're not living in a time where it's all about success. This is really a time of mourning. And that's why the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, go to the house of mourning rather than the house of mirth, because that the mirth is the end of all men. All right, mirthing, which is pretty much festivities and partying. All right. So it says, "For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance; He will render unto her a recompense." All right. Babylon hath been a golden cup of the Lord's hand, and hath made all the earth drunken. Okay. The nations have drunken her wine, meaning her ways. All right, her philosophies. Okay. Therefore, the nations are mad. They're mad because what? America's corruption, whether it be their policies, which their money is part of their policy, their finance is part of their policies. The nations are mad because they took on their philosophy, they took on this standard. All right, and now their society sucks and it's imploding and it's corrupt. All right, so I'll start with that one. But this is more so for you individuals who are seeking asylum, spiritual asylum. All right, because the money ain't gonna save you. We already see where this society is going. Generational wealth ain't gonna save you because that don't even exist in this society. You can't even accumulate wealth. You can't even accumulate land because the Lord is determined that He's gonna destroy this place. So the only thing we can trust in, all right, is the Lord's mercy and His salvation from the Lord. Okay, because salvation and the only way out of this is through Yahweh Shai. Okay, so let's see. We'll do it like this then. Let's go Matthew chapter 6. All right, and we'll do 19. All right. Matthew 6 and 19. Lay not, let's see if I got a title. Nope. It says, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Because a lot of people, even Israelites who know the truth, all right, or somewhat of the truth, because you can know the truth but not have 100% of it. Okay, and that 100% is you only gonna have 100% truth is only if you have entered in that straight gate. Okay, only if you have entered into that straight gate, and most have it. All right, most have it. All right, it says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. Why? Because these individuals who lay up treasures upon earth, all right, um, eventually those treasures are going to be done away with. Okay, um, they're very unsure. Okay, and we know that by looking at history. We know that by understanding the money system as it is, the makeup as it is today. All right, we know that it's a fraudulent system. Okay, and it's simply made. All right, and generated to be destroyed. All right, it's a ploy. Okay, and the elites, they're gonna call in their debts, and they're gonna definitely shut down their dollar. All right, and they're gonna try to bring in the new currency. All right, so let's continue. It says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. All right, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So the heavenly treasures, which is simply the works, okay, which is, you can equate it to the fruits of the spirit. The big thing is like charity, okay, which is probably the highest form of um, uh, reciprocating that love. All right. Um, so yeah, all right. That's how you store your treasures in heaven, by doing the work of the Lord. All right, by constantly seeking His wisdom. All right, because wisdom is currency, not the dollar. All right, or not none of the dreams that they're pushing to us in the society. Okay, we're supposed to be looking forward and hasting, as the scriptures say, for the kingdom. Okay, all right. So let's continue. All right. This is, I said that I did say wisdom is currency. So let's go here. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. Let's start at 1. It says, wisdom reacheth from one end to the other mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things. I loved her and sought her out. From my youth I desired to make her my spouse. All right, and I was a lover of her beauty. Now imagine that, every day waking up and you know, um, let's just say, for instance, in the ancient world, I mentioned this the other day. That, in the ancient world, certain children of high status will wake up to tutors, and their whole day will consist of reading, all right, studying, being taught, being lectured, all right, being brought up in a way, because that wisdom establishes that it establishes everything, man. If you didn't have wisdom in the ancient world, you would nobody. Okay, so wisdom is currency, and it's gonna say it. All right, you just imagine now, people wake up and their whole agenda is to get money, get the bag, as they say. All right. Verse 3, it says, in that she is conversant with the Most High, she magnifieth her nobility. All right. Yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her, for she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of God, and a lover of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? What is richer than wisdom that worketh all things. So wisdom worketh all things, right? All right, so what's next? So wisdom is riches, all right, and wisdom worketh all things. Let's see here, Ecclesiastes 7. Yep. Ecclesiastes 7 and 12, it says, for wisdom is a defense, all right, and money is a defense. So they're both a defense, right? It says, but the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. All right. See, in this society, most think money giveth life. You know, they live for money, but we live for wisdom. The wisdom, of course, of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai. All right. This is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So wisdom giveth life. Let's see what it's saying in NLT. Wisdom is better. Wisdom is even better when you have money. Nah. Both are a benefit as you go through. Nah. We're gonna stick with the KJV. Right. So wisdom, for wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense, but the excellency, all right, of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. All right. So wisdom giveth life. And we live in a time where the scriptures talk about wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Isaiah 33 and 6, and strength of salvation. All right. That's what we need. We need strength for our salvation. All right. Strength leading to our salvation. Okay. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh, is his treasure. Okay. All right. The fear of the Lord, that's wisdom as well. So wisdom, Psalm, I think it's Psalm 110 that says, fears the wisdom of the Lord. No, it gotta be 111, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Psalm 111 and 10. And good understanding have all they that do his commandments, and his praise endure forever. Right? So if the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and wisdom is life, right? So you put two and two together, and wisdom is currency. Okay? If that makes sense. All right. So next one is Romans. All right, 11. Yeah, sorry about those five. Okay, Romans 11 and 33. And it reads, it says, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. So, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High. How unsearchable are his judgments and his ways past finding out. So that's why it's a treasure, all right, because it's unsearchable. And his judgments is, and his ways are past finding out. Okay? But if you fear him, all right, that is wisdom. And wisdom is life, and it worketh all things. Okay? And that would mean that wisdom, all right, not only a defense, but it is the highest currency. Okay? If that makes sense. This is Psalms 37 and 25. It says, I have been young and now I'm old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. All right? Why? Of course, because they trust in the Lord. All right? We don't beg bread because what? That wisdom, all right, is that currency. All right? And in the times that we're leading up to, currency ain't going to mean a damn thing. All right? But the wisdom is what's going to keep you. You know, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of your times. All right? So let's continue. Isaiah 10. Isaiah 10 and 20, and it reads, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, meaning to basically trust or to lean upon, all right, him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, Yasha'Allah, okay, in truth, all right. So the elect, or remnant, that's what the remnant is referring to. The elect is going to lean and trust upon the Lord, all right, and not upon those that have been smoting us or oppressing us. All right. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. But though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. That's right. All right. Okay. So we know in the times to come, in these last days, that a remnant, the elect, all right, a remnant, the elect, are going to trust in the Lord, all right, and not lean upon the oppressors, okay, because those that lean upon the oppressor are the ones that's basically choosing his ways and trusting in him, all right. Proverbs 23 and 4, labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. You know? Let's see what it says in NLT. Like, right, so we don't labor to be rich, okay? But we can labor to be rich in the spirit, all right? Because you don't want to be spiritually broke going after the physical things in this world, thinking that that's going to suffice you in the things in the world, in the future to come, and it's not. And that's what people got it all twisted. That's where they got it all twisted, because they think that, this man and his dollar is going to suffice for the future and for the hard times and the things that's going to come upon this earth. And it's not. It's the wisdom that will, all right? His wisdom. Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich, but be wise enough to know when to quit. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right. So Proverbs 30 and 8. And it reads, it says, KJV, 30 and 8, it says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Now, what is this whole system built off of? Lies. That's right. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Which is this word? All right. All right. And that's why the scriptures talk about our daily bread. Okay. Feed me with food convenient for me. And what's that? All right. That is this truth. Ezekiel 3. And one moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So this is likened this word is likened unto a roll. Even Yahweh Shai reference that. All right. What he said, man shall not live by bread alone. Matthew 4 and 4 says, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. That's right. So in a sense, you got to eat a spiritual roll, because you don't want to be spiritually bankrupt. So people basically, when you hold on to this world, your energy is geared to this world and becoming rich, you become spiritually bankrupt. All right. Here's one. Proverbs 20 and 13. It says, love not sleep. All right. This whole society represents sleep. If you in the American, if you believe, all right, in the merits of this society or the standard of this society, you sleep. All right, lest thou come to poverty. All right, okay. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. All right. All right, let me go up a little bit. The hearing ear and the seeing eye the Lord hath made, even both of them. Yeah. So let's see. There we go. This is good. It says, if you sleep, Proverbs 20 and 13. If you love sleep, all right, you will end in poverty. All right. So you'll be spiritually broke. All right, is another way to put it. All right. Keep your eyes open. Okay. And there will be plenty to eat. That's right. Okay. And that was pretty much that concluded the lesson. I really kind of went in the spirit with this one. All right. All right. And hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, because this society is for sure going to collapse. The Lord said it. That's what He's determined for this place, and upon this collapse, um, we have to rid ourselves from, thinking that the society or things like money in the society is going to set us up for the future to come, and it's not. All right. And so we pay more attention to the wisdom of the Heavenly Father, because knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our times, the times that we're headed into, because that's the real riches. All right. That's the real currency that's going to get us through, the times. Okay. So, Lord willing, again, Lord willing, this is edifying. Until next time, I say shalom. And the water for the precepts on the comment board. You know what? Let me see. Yeah, that pretty much that's pretty much it, man. All right. Okay. Oh, well, you know what? I can end it on a few of these. All right. Ecclesiastes 82. I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment. And oops. Now, Ecclesiastes 8:1. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? And man's wisdom maketh his face to shine. All right. And the boldness of his face shall be changed. All right. And that's the opposite for people in this society. When you look at people, money to them makes their face shine, but wisdom makes our face shine. All right. It says, I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment, and that in regard of the oath of God. Proverbs 4 and 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, give wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. All right. All right. Because the main thing is to know. To understand what we know. Okay. All right. And wisdom comes through experience. All right. So it says, therefore, I think wisdom is the application of knowledge and understanding. All right. So therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. And that's what we really want. All right. And that's why wisdom, that the knowledge of the Heavenly Father is a treasure. And that treasure really is pointing towards the kingdom. Okay. And so with that, I'm going to end it on that one. Wait, just a little bit more. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that ye may reign forever. That's beautiful. All right. Because only through the wisdom of the Heavenly Father will we be able to sustain a world. All right. And be able to run it. Okay. With his knowledge, his understanding. Okay. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim. It's pushing the work in truth and sincerity. Shalom.